Evening, folks. Ken Hovind here and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. Genesis Baptist Church here. Tonight we'll be in Psalm 105. I don't know if we can cover the whole thing or not. This is a loaded chapter in the Bible. Not the others aren't, but this one's amazing. Tell of all his wondrous works. Okay, we're on a bunch of different channels. Let's see, they took us off of YouTube, but we're up on a bunch of stuff. We're on Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and our app, KentHovind.tv. Be sure to like us, share, comment on it, make a comment, subscribe to the channel. Now, you morons, atheists that are commenting, making disparaging comments, why don't you just call for a debate and show the world how dumb I am and how smart you are? You keyboard warrior, you. Come on, take you all on, okay? So please like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. You might know somebody needs some encouragement. Send them. Okay, you can help us to open for free. Join our 777 club. So I like what you're doing. I'm going to donate $1 a day. You can help become a member. Call Bobby or Krista, extension 1 or 2. Somebody will answer. Come on in, have a seat there, folks. Okay. Get our seminar on science in the Bible, 18 hours, $50. You can watch it, return it, watch it, copy it, and return it. Get your money back. Okay. Get our book, What on Earth is About to Happen, or the video series, 20 hours, What on Earth is About to Happen. Today, new record. Your mother took the tour today, 93 years old. Took the real tour at Dinosaur Adventureland. See, come on down and see the pit. She survived it okay? Did she like it? But she's asleep. We wore her out. I believe it. Okay. But come on, it's really fun here. We try to make this place not only exciting and inspirational, but godly, and make people want to fall in love with Jesus. That's what we're trying to do. Come visit our Dinosaur Adventureland, take the real tour, 140 acres, learn the real science, not evolution. We think God ought to get the glory for his creation, not the stupid evolution religion. We're straight north of Pensacola. Psalm 105, historical psalm that recounts the faithfulness of God to Israel and calls for thanksgiving and praise. Most of the psalm is reminding them of everything they did to get them out of Egypt and get them across the desert into the promised land. The psalm highlights God's covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, emphasizing his promise to give them the land of Canaan. By the way, they're still over there fighting on it. It's their land, guys. Okay, leave it alone. See, the Muslims have this thing they say, from the river to the sea. What that means is we want to kill all the Jews, take over all the land. That's what that means. That's code word. Okay. Psalm 105 details God's deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt, including the plagues he sent on the Egyptians and the miraculous events that led to Israel's freedom. Let's see. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Now, that phrase, call upon, is found in the Bible. Call upon the Lord. Give thanks. Call upon the Lord. Call on him. Call on him. Ask him. I will call on the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. Psalm 18. Call upon me in the day of trouble. How many of you ever had trouble in your life, had to call upon the Lord? Lord, get me out of here. Fix this problem. Found in the book of Psalms a whole bunch of times. Call upon the Lord. Call upon him. So he tells us in these verses, give thanks, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people, sing unto him, talk of all his wondrous works, glory in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Lord. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face forever, evermore. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. Seek the Lord. That's found in the Bible a bunch of times. Seek the Lord, seek the Lord, seek the Lord. It's been 56 years for me now. See, I just want to know, God, what do you want me to do? Is that your attitude? If God told you what to do, would you do it? Well, you're probably not going to waste time telling you if you're not going to do it, okay? Seek the Lord and his strength. Remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. This word remember, found in the Bible, just remember, 148 times. That's an amazing trait humans have, the ability to remember. See, I've forgotten more things than I can remember. But that's good, because there's 3 signs of a genius. Did you know, brother? One is a poor memory. I forgot the other 2. Okay. So, Joseph, is that book done by the world's 3 most humble people and how I trained the other 2? We're all working on the cover. Okay. Remember, found all through the Bible, a bunch of times in the book of Psalms. Remember. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant. And God made a promise. He won't break it. Some people make promises, until death do us part, and they break their promise. Okay. So some people make something. I remember my covenant. Remember my promise, God said. He remembered his covenant forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Covenant. Covenant is an agreement. He hath broken my covenant. My covenant. My covenant. An everlasting covenant. God remembered his covenant back in Exodus. God remembers when he makes a promise. He promised, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. You cannot possibly lose your salvation. A Christian can lose their life if they sin. They can lose their joy. They can lose their rewards. You can't lose your salvation. I don't serve God because I'm worried I'll go to hell if I don't. I serve God because I love him. I want to please him. Okay? Remember, found 59 verses. I'm sorry, everlasting covenant. Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac. If you remember three names, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you got half the Old Testament figured out. That's the sequence, okay? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. A whole lot of stuff in the Bible about those three. That was the father, son, and grandson. And confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. Everlasting covenant found in the Bible a bunch of times too. Just Google that. You need to get an e-sword program. It's amazing. Just look up words or phrases and it tells you every time you see it in the Bible. Saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. That's where the Hamas guys do. They don't understand. God gave that land to the Jews. He promised it to them. And you're not going to throw them out. I'm sorry. You might outnumber them 500 to 1. Doesn't matter. God's going to protect them. You guys might as well just learn. Go live somewhere. There's plenty of land in the world. You don't have to have that little piece of land the size of New Hampshire. Anyway, when they were but few men in number, very few and strangers in it. When they went from one nation to another, one kingdom to another people. Here they were, just 70 of them. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob had 12 sons and one daughter, and plus their wives, wives and kids. About 70 people went down into Egypt. He suffered no man to do them wrong. He reproved kings for their sake, saying, touch not mine anointed, do my prophets no harm. Don't mess with God's man. That's where in churches, if I've been in churches and I have a disagreement with the pastor, I just quietly leave. I'm not going to stir up trouble. That's God's man for that place. Might disagree on some theology. Okay. Let God take care of it. Okay. And you wives ought to let God take care of your husband. Told one lady in our church here, look, what you need is some duct tape. Let him be the boss. He makes mistakes. Yes. Who doesn't? Okay. Let him make them. Then he'll learn. At least he knows you're going to follow. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. This is talking about in Egypt. God broke them down. God said, Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. So Moses did. Pharaoh said, no. Moses, go tell him again. This time, I'm going to bring a plague. 10 plagues on that land. A famine. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant. A couple hundred years before Moses went to get him out, Joseph was sold on. His own brothers sold him into slavery. Whose feet they hurt with fetters, he was laid in iron. Touch not mine anointed, found in the Bible in 1 Chronicles, chapter 16, and 1 Samuel. David had opportunity to kill Saul. He said, I'm not going to touch him. That's God's man. Let God take, and God did take care of him, okay? Until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him. Sometimes bad things happen to people, and it's just a test to see if you're going to be faithful. My 9 years in prison was quite a test. You going to be faithful, Kent? Lord, I don't want to be here, but I'm here. So I led 800 men to the Lord, had 4 Bible studies a day, wrote 37 books, earned 2 more doctor's degrees. Find something to do for the Lord instead of gripe, okay? Hey, come on in, brother. The king sent and loosed him. Even the ruler of the people let him go free. It's when Pharaoh finally let him go, okay? He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his senators wisdom. Joseph went from a slave in prison to vice Pharaoh overnight. God can really exalt people when he's ready. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Watch that phrase. That's important. The land of Ham. He increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. God turned the hearts of the Egyptians to make them hate Israel. Strange. Bible says at the end of time, the Christians are going to be hated just for no reason, just for Jesus' sake. So if you got people hate you just because you're a Christian, great is your reward. Hang in there, okay? He sent Moses, his servant, and Aaron whom he chose. Now, some people say there's a contradiction about how long the children of Israel were in Egypt. Joseph, you remember when I did the answer to this one a couple months ago? Any way to find the link and put that up? Or is it after? Okay. Was it 215 years, 400 years, or 430 years? Just watch that show we did a couple months ago, I'm guessing, about the supposed contradiction. There's no contradiction at all. Okay. The number of Jews who left Egypt during the Exodus is a subject of debate. 70 people went in, according to the Bible. An Israelite army numbered over 600,000 men, implying, wives and children. A total of about 2.4 million came out. So sometime after Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, they sold Joseph into slavery. Then later, all the brothers came down and moved down there. He fed them. Then those 70 people grew to a nation of 2.4 million by the time Moses let them out. And they showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. What's this land of Ham? He sent darkness and made it dark, and they rebelled not against his word. He turned their waters into blood and slew their fish. That's what God did to the Egyptians. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance. You believe the Egyptians worshiped the frog? They had a frog god. I tell you, once a person decides to leave the Lord, they can believe the dumbest thing. Like you atheists, you believe you came from a rock and you're related to a potato. Stop and think. That's really stupid. I'm sorry. There's no kind way to tell you. Okay. They brought forth frogs in chambers of their king. Had frogs in the bed. One more night with the frogs. Google that song. One more night with the frogs. That is hilarious. Pharaoh, Moses said, brought the frogs, and Pharaoh called him in. Get rid of these frogs. Moses said, when would you like me to do that? He said, tomorrow. How about now? No, tomorrow. One more night with the frogs. That's hilarious. The land of Ham. So where do the races come from? I cover this on video number 7 of my seminar series, the races. Okay, there are obvious skin differences, colors, hair texture, etc., and height and nose shape and all that kind of stuff. But there's really only one race. It's called the human race. There's one race, guys, one human race. There are different colors of cows. Those aren't different races of cows, okay? Skin colors do not mean it's a different species. There are 450 recognized breeds of cows. They probably had a common ancestor called a cow. Most of them would not survive in nature. You got to protect them on a ranch or a farm, okay? Nothing about the cow has evolved. Breeders have selected from pre-existing traits, like to get more milk or more meat or heat resistance or drought resistance. But it was already in the gene code. The cow already gave milk. They selected the ones that gave more milk. They didn't put wings on the cow, okay, or make it lay eggs. They just selected a trait already existing. Breeders have not created anything new in the cow. The record now for a cow is 280 pounds of milk every day. Utterly insane. That poor thing would never survive in the wild. It can barely walk, all right? They'll never get a cow to give 1,000 tons of milk every day. There is a limit, and you atheists just don't see it. Hang on, I got to kill this fly. Hold on 1 second here. Oh. He probably wet his pants. I scared him, for sure. This 20-inch cow in India is the world's smallest cow. You think they'll ever get a cow 1 inch tall or 10 miles tall? Can you guys just admit, yes, there's a limit? Have they reached it yet? I don't know, and I don't care. But you won't even admit there is a limit. You think an amoeba can turn to a whale. World record Belgian bull. Wow. This guy's 2,700 pounds. But they find fossil cows 4,400 pounds. I think they were bigger in the past, like the Bible would teach. They all look the same in the meat locker. They all taste the same on the hamburger. Look, there's not races of cows. Probably the pygmy, Lysango, Zaire pygmy. The different pygmies over there might have had a common ancestor, okay? It's still human. These guys might have had a common ancestor. Chinese, Japanese, Cambodian, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. Probably had a common ancestor. These guys probably had a common ancestor. The Mayan, Australian, the Aborigines, New Guinean, okay, Melanesia. I wouldn't argue with that. Probably had a common ancestor. It's still human. This is what they don't get. They think because of these little variations we see, therefore, we're related to potatoes. There's a couple of theories about where I'll use the word races, but I mean the different skin colors and different characteristics of these people, okay? There's only one race. There's a theory about where the races or colors come from. The Bible is not clear on this topic, so I think it's best not to be dogmatic, but there are 4 different theories about this. Theory number 1 says Adam and Eve were medium brown. and they produced all the colors in their own children. You know, two people produce a bunch of kids, and they're all different, aren't they? Yeah. Here's a dark-skinned couple with light-skinned babies. Oh, so what? It happens. The Lord set a mark upon Cain, theory number 2, lest any finding him should kill him. Some people think Cain was cursed with black skin. I don't believe this one at all. Some people do. Many people teach this one, the curse of Cain. Okay, I don't believe that one. Many people throughout thought this was true and led to horrible results. The Mormon Church, official doctrine of the Mormon Church. Negroes in this life are denied the priesthood. Under no circumstances can they hold this delegation of authority. The gospel message of salvation is not carried affirmatively to them. Hovind translation, they can't be saved because they're black. Negroes are not equal with other races where the receipt of certain spiritual blessings are concerned. Let's see. And this is the Lord's doing. They can't become a priest in the Mormon Church. The Lord did that. It's because of the lack of spiritual valiance of those concerned in their first estate. What does this mean? I had 2 Mormon missionaries come to my house when I was living in California, knocked on the door. Mr. Hovind, we'd like to talk to you about the Lord. I said, well, that would be great. Whose Lord would you like to talk about, mine or yours? Oh, we serve the same Lord. No, you don't. I said, does the God that you worship have a physical body like mine? Oh, yeah. My Bible says God is spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Does your God live on the planet Kolob, K-O-L-O-B? We believe he does. I said, does your God have thousands of wives? Yeah, we believe he does. Does your God have normal physical relations with those wives up in heaven and produce spirit babies? Oh, yeah. And so the human couple on earth, they only produce the physical body. Your God up in heaven produces the spirit in the same way that they produce the physical body. Yep. That's what they believe. And so when the baby's being born on earth, one of those spirit babies comes down and gets in that body. Is that what you believe? Mm-hmm. That's Mormon teaching. And if it's a good spirit baby in heaven, if it was a valiant spirit baby, it gets a white-skinned body. But if it was a bad spirit baby, it gets a black-skinned body. Is that what you guys believe? They were quiet, looked at each other and said, well, you're not supposed to know that, but yeah, that is what we believe. And it is what they believe. Read it. Mormon Doctrine, Bruce McConkie. In the broad sense, caste systems have their root and origin in the gospel itself. When they operate according to divine decree, the result, restrictions and segregation are right and proper. This is what the Mormons teach. Cain, Ham, and the whole Negro race have been cursed with black skin, the mark of Cain. This is their official teaching, folks, okay? Let's see. If there's one drop of Negro blood in my children, as I read to you, they receive the curse. Brigham Young said, shall I tell you the law of God in regard to the African race? If the white man who belongs to the chosen seed mixes his blood with the seed of Cain, the penalty under the law of God is death on the spot. This will always be so. That's the guy that started the Mormon church. Yeah. Read First Nephi. She was exceeding fair and white. They became a dark and loathsome and filthy people, full of idleness, as if skin color makes a person filthy and idle. Stupid. Nephi 13. They were white, exceeding fair, a sore cursing, as they were white and exceeding fair, that they might not be enticing unto my people. The Lord caused a skin of blackness to come upon them. Oh, so they wouldn't trick the people. This is the stuff they teach. Now they don't teach this at first. When you first get into their church, oh, it's a do-gooders club and everybody's smiling and happy. Then when you really dig in, you find out, whoa, I am in a royal Mormon cult here, okay? Scales of darkness shall begin to fall. They shall be a white and delightsome people. And you can read all about the verses for yourself. This is what they teach, folks. The skins of the Lamanites were dark, which is a curse upon them. Cursed, okay. Lamanites who had united with Nephites were numbered among the Nephites, and their curse was taken from them, and their skin became white, like the Nephites. They were as white as the countenance. Nothing on earth as so white as the whiteness thereof. They were white even as Jesus. I tell people, I have never met a white man. I think if I saw one, I'd take off running. I'm not white. Well, here. You can see. Here, I'll show you. Let me explain to you. This is white. This is not white. I've never met a black man. Never. This is black. We need to quit calling them white and black and pick another name, dark and light maybe, but they're all human, okay? Great book about the murders people who tried to leave the Mormon church. They murdered them. Read that book, Secret History of the Mormon Church. The third theory is that Noah put a curse on Canaan. I don't buy this one either. Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brethren." Before the Civil War, people used this verse to say it's okay to make Negroes into slaves. That's what was happening in the Civil War here. I know I'm in the South, and I don't care. Teach it like it is, okay? In Genesis, God said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem. Canaan shall be his servant." Canaan shall be his servant. I don't believe this one at all. I don't think anybody should be a servant to somebody else unless you voluntarily want to be, okay? The fourth theory is the Tower of Babel caused this. So they tried to build a tower to heaven. God had said, spread out. They said, we ain't doing it. We're staying here. So God spread them out. He divided them by their tongues, their families, and their nations. Now, when you get people divided up in a small group of people, have to inbreed, it causes unusual traits. So leaving the Tower of Babel, probably a small group of folks, spoke French, and a small group spoke a different language, and they spread out. The Habsburg family is famous for their inbreeding. Started to look pretty strange after a while, okay? Here's the ostrich people of Africa. They're required to marry in the family. They got 2 toes on their feet. Inbreeding causes a loss of information, not a gain of information. The ostrich, just Google ostrich people. That's what they look. You got to marry within the family. So they're always marrying nieces or aunts or sisters. The ostrich people. Inbreeding causes trouble, right? Doesn't help. These are the families of Noah after their generations. By these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So I think the nations were divided by Shem, Ham, and Japheth. There's a great book called After the Flood by Bill Cooper. You want to get that? We don't sell that one, do we? Used to when I was in Pensacola. That's really a good one. Just Google Bill Cooper, After the Flood. Tell him Kent Hovind said hi. Japheth, if you read the story in Genesis 10, had 14 kids and grandkids. It's kind of hard to count, figure out who's who here. About 14. Ham had 31. And the Bible says Egypt and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, the verse we're reading tonight. Verse 27, he showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. Egypt is called the land of Ham. 4 times the land of Ham is mentioned in the Bible. There they are. 2 of them in the chapter we're talking about tonight, once in the next chapter for Sunday. Wondrous works in the land of Ham. Here's the theory. Noah's Ark landed in what today is the country of Turkey, and the people spread out. The Ham's descendants went south and took over the continent of Africa. Shem traveled east and took over and became the Orientals, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, etc., Filipino. Japheth traveled north and west and became the Europeans. So that's basically how the earth was divided after the flood by those 3. Noah's Ark landed in Turkey right there, and Shem and his kids migrated east. Japheth and his kids migrated west, and Ham and his kids migrated south. I think that's the simplest explanation. And people that live near the equator, or where it's really a lot of people with darker skin can survive the sunlight better. So it might be the real light-skinned people died of some kind of sun-caused problem, and who knows? Here we go. The descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Here they are in purple, and gold or yellow. Gold color is Ham and Japheth. Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Even Nimrod, the mighty hunter. And his was the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. And he built Nineveh. You can go through Genesis 10, and it talks about all these different nations and where they settle, like the Philistines in the Gaza Strip, Canaan, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, Shem with his 29 kids and grandkids, right there. Therefore, it's called the Tower of Babel because God confounded the language. So I think there were about 75 original languages coming from the Tower of Babel, just my guess. English, German, and Danish probably have a common root. Many words in German are similar to the English, okay, and vice versa. This is the Beowulf poem in English. That's what our English language used to look like. I can only read one word on the page. Duh. That's English. I'm glad they've made it better, okay. Spanish, Italian, French, and Latin probably had a common root language. I wouldn't argue that. This book, The Discovery of Genesis in the Chinese language, is phenomenal. If you get into that kind of stuff, read that one. Or God's Promise to the Chinese, another great one. Okay. God made of one blood all nations of men to dwell on the earth. That book is also a great one by Ken Ham and Weiland and Batten. One blood. There's no answer to racism. Have we not all one Father? Why do we deal treacherously against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers? There's a good article, The Search for Adam and Eve. Let's see. We're all related to a man who lived in Asia, 1400 BC. I could have told him that. Say his name, Noah. Say his wife's name, yeah, Joan. Joan of Arc, I think. Let's see. That's a joke. Everyone descended from a single person who lived 3,500 years ago. I could have told him that. Okay. You can read the article for yourself. Where was that at? Weekly Telegraph, back, 20 years ago. Let's see. This family tree is reasonable. The Chinese, Japanese, and what's that other one? They could have had a common ancestor. I wouldn't argue about that. This family tree is stupid, related to monkeys. That's stupid. This family tree is real stupid, that humans are related to ladybugs. Extremely stupid. Tell all the atheists I said so, and I'll debate any of them on that topic. Okay? Get the book One Blood by these guys here. Anyway, Psalm 105. Let's hurry and finish. He spake, and there came divers sorts of flies and lice. So he's going through now what God did in Egypt to get the people out. These are the plagues that he sent on them. Flies, lice, hail, flaming fire. There was fire running along the ground. Yeah, burning up their crops. He smote their vines, their fig trees. He spoke, and the locusts came, and the caterpillars, and that without number. And did eat up all the herbs in the land, and devoured the fruit of their ground. He smote all the firstborn. That was the real bad plague. Oldest child in every family died, even Pharaoh's. He brought them forth with silver and gold. There was not one feeble person among their tribes. Even though they'd been enslaved and made to labor hard, it made them stronger. So God might be putting you through something that's making you stronger. Hang in there, okay? And when God told them, the Israelites, ask all their neighbors, can I borrow your jewelry and gold and silver? And God put it into the heart of the Egyptians. Yeah, here, take it. Get out of here. Leave. So they came out of there rich as their payment for a couple hundred years of work there for free. Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them. He spread a cloud for a covering, and fire to give them light in the night. It's a pillar of cloud in the daytime and fire at night to follow. The people asked, and he brought quail and satisfied them with bread from heaven, bread of heaven. You can read the story back in Exodus for yourself. He opened the rock, and the waters gushed out. They ran in the dry place. By the way, they found that rock. My video number 7 about the crossing of the Red Sea, where they found a rock that's 5 stories tall, rock that split in half. For he remembered his holy promise and for Abraham his servant. He brought forth his people with joy and his chosen with gladness. He gave them the lands of the heathen, and they inherited the labor of the people, that they might observe his statutes and keep his laws. Praise ye the Lord. So this whole Psalm, Psalm 105, is to get the people, hey, let's talk about how wonderful God's been. Some of you, if you quit griping about everything all the time, start telling about how wonderful God's been. You know anybody, as soon as you ask them, how are you? Might as well sit down. They're going to tell you everything wrong with them for the next 3 days. Find something nice to say. Tell him his wonderful works. Okay, questions or comments, brother? Can you lose your salvation? Absolutely cannot lose your salvation. What if you take the mark? Tough question. The Bible says you have to receive the mark and worship the beast. Don't have an answer for that one. Okay? But he promised you cannot lose your salvation. Love you, brother. Long time been in Faith Corner since Florida. Love your message. Blessing. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Spread it around. Tell somebody else about it. Okay, what was your favorite commissary snack? I don't remember that. Now, in the federal prison, the commissary and the rooms are better, and if you're going to go to prison, go fed. They give more time. Okay. They give more time because the judges, the congressmen, and the senators, they can own stock in the prison system. The longer they lock you up, the more they make on their secondary investment. See, they might own the commissary. So they know, hey, you got to get this guy locked up for a couple of years. He's going to spend money in there. Somebody makes the beds, the sheets, the laundry. All that stuff is called prison industries. Get my book, The Kennel, where I expose all that. We got this one on there, Joseph. I wrote this from prison. When I found out all the evil stuff they're doing in there shouldn't be prisons at all. Fine them, beat them, or kill them. I could probably dwindle our prison population, which is the largest in the world. We have more prisoners than China. I think I could dwindle the population down and fit them all in one prison. Certain people just ought to be executed for their crime. Other people, you find them, beat them, kill them. That's the three choices. You get my book, The Kennel. You'll like that one. Okay. Does God love the people overseas more than us? They have the blood. He loves everybody. Huh? Well, they're his chosen people. Now, they're not godly people. They're God's people, but they're not godly people, if that makes any sense. Right. He's going to smack them. Can you imagine a 320-ounce ribeye? Oh, I never thought of that. I'm still not thinking about it. Okay, next question. Wait, let's see. Do you think the rapture will happen this year? No. The temple has to be built and the treaty and the desolated. In the middle of the 7 years, the treaty is broken. He desolates the temple. We are raptured out after the tribulation. I wish it wasn't so. I wrote my book on that, did my chart, did my video series. I poured thousands of hours into this. The church has always taught we will be here for the tribulation time. There's going to be a treaty to let them rebuild their temple. That might have already been made. That starts the 7 years. In the middle, he breaks the treaty by offering a pig or something. He desolates the altar. Well, there's no altar to desolate. So it can't be this year. Then 3.5 years later, if anybody's still alive, we get raptured out. Then the wrath of God falls. Just get my book and video. I cover that. Joseph, you saw that. I covered it as thoroughly as I know how. And my style of writing and teaching is keep it simple. Use charts and graphs. Let everybody understand. You may disagree with me, but that's what the church has always taught until 1830, when that Scottish girl, Margaret MacDonald, 15-year-old girl, had a dream about the pre-trib rapture. That's where it started, and it's not true. Okay, let's see. I used to deliver Dinosaur Adventureland in Pensacola. You mean deliver babies? Deliver mail. Deliver something. Well, good. I don't know. What do you deliver? I delivered my son at home. They talk about all that pain in childbearing. I didn't have any pain. It's a mess, but okay. Nicholas, hope you and the crew are doing well. My question, dinosaurs exist today. Which species do you think have survived? I covered that in video number 3 in great detail. Yes, I think there are some dinosaurs still alive, not all of them, and they're smaller than they used to be, just like people don't live to be 900. So video 3 has got a 2-hour answer to that question. You can watch them all right online, or you can buy the DVD if you want. Okay, we're still coming. Question may have recently is the location of past biblical events being in the Americas. I'm not aware of any. There's people who try to talk about that, the Indians and stuff like that. I don't think so, but that's somebody else's dragon to slay. Okay. We'd be in Kentucky. We'd be inside the Ark. I've been in there. Don't know. I love the place. You're doing a great job. Let's see. When are we going to Kentucky? I've got it on my July 6th. There it is. July 6th is it's an atheists are having their rally up there. We're going to go up there and try to talk some sense into them. That's probably a waste of time, isn't it? Explaining color to a blind man. We're going to have fun, though. Yeah. Huh? Come out and meet me. Yeah. This is what I look like right here. Okay. Okay. How well would you know if you have salvation? Well, I wrestled with mine for the first 6 months after I got saved. I went to the altar every service and said, Lord, if you didn't save me last time, save me this time. Finally, my preacher said, Kent, didn't you ask him to save you back in February 9? Yeah. Why are you calling him a liar? I just read the verse and said, okay, I trust it. I'm going to settle it right there. So it may take a while for you to get assurance of your salvation. That doesn't affect your salvation any. It's the assurance of your salvation. So if you've called upon the name of the Lord, he said, you shall be saved. And you'll probably see some differences in your life. The fact that you're even worried about it is a good sign that Jesus is in there. Because if you were lost, the devil wouldn't want you to worry about that. He wants to keep you busy, chasing Zelda or something. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Tomorrow night. See you then.